The Steens Mountain and Alvord Desert BDR-X is a 246-mile loop near Section 1 of the Oregon BDR. Section 1 starts in Fields, Oregon, and heads north with an optional stop in Frenchglen for supplies before a scenic gravel ascent up Steens Mountain. Primitive two-track and gravel roads bring you to the Narrows RV Park, where you can gas up and stay the night or enjoy one of the many established campgrounds along the route. Section 2 heads east towards the Stonehouse Wilderness Study Area on a mixture of gravel and primitive dirt roads before dropping down on switchbacks to the Alvord Desert below. Consider a stop at Alvord Hot Springs, where you can take a dip or grab refreshments before heading back to Fields to complete the route. This 2-day loop is accessible after the snow melts and the roads open in June, but the seasonal bypasses must be used prior to August 1st.
So Field Station serves as a great starting point, home base even. It's a great place to stay. They've got gas, they've got lodging, they've got food, they've got friendly people that are knowledgeable about the area.
There isn't a lot of resources down here. There's very small towns, and the small lodges and motels that are along the way are probably going to be pretty booked in advance. If you plan on doing this ride, plan in advance and have a game plan as where you're lodging, where you're going to camp. All that information is available on the website.
As people are assembling a team or a group to go on a ride on a BDR, think about your team that you're putting together, because everybody's got to get along for a long period of time, and at the same time you want to have skill sets that fit well together, so that if anything goes wrong, you've got knowledge to solve problems.
Are we ready to do this?
Yeah, let's go do this.
So yeah, the start is very remote. It's not close to any large towns. It's not close to any metropolises. I mean, you're going to be coming in from a long ways away and then getting a start and riding through very remote stuff.
Well, we're in Frenchglen. If you need supplies and gas, I think I would recommend coming here, but more than importantly, like the historic buildings and the hotel are a really cool place to come visit. I was told that this building, the general store, actually was moved maybe 100 years ago or something when it was built, piece by piece, and brought it here and re-erected it for you guys to come enjoy the coffee and drinks and everything that are inside. So come here, get some refreshments, buy some fuel, maybe think about staying at the old hotel, and man, this is just a cool town to visit, so definitely stop here on your way.
Yeah, there's a little hotel behind us and a bathroom if you need it. I do have to say it's mosquito season right now. I've never seen so many mosquitoes in my life, so make sure you bring bug spray with you.
I'll second that. I don't ever get bitten by mosquitoes, and I'm getting chomped on.
Okay, so we are at the start of the Steens Mountain Loop. We're on the South Loop Road right here. We're going to drive or ride out to this river, and then we'll start our big climb. And there's a number of overlooks. That's what this ride is all about. This loop is 57 miles, and we'll spend most of our time up here looking into these gorges. And then we'll start our descent back down the north side of the loop road, and then we're going to break north on a road that's actually not shown.
The route that turns off of this main Steens Mountain Loop looks really interesting, so I'm pretty excited to see it.
And this is where it gets serious. And so for me, I think it's actually nice to have this flow and this transition, because this is hard. You got to be more focused. You're going to be, this is going to be where you get your brain back in order for adventure riding.
I just love the feeling of a small group of friends with all your stuff packed on the bikes, and you have this like shared objective, and you're all in it together, and you know there's going to be challenges and there's going to be obstacles, and you'll probably have a mechanical and someone's going to have a crash. And that's part of the excitement, because you know what's going to happen, but you don't know when and where and to who. Back in the days before backcountry discovery routes, when we'd go somewhere that we weren't familiar with, we just constantly run into dead ends, and you just don't know, right? You don't know the interesting spots, and you don't know what really connect. The backcountry discovery routes give you this nice, clean route that connects the really interesting, beautiful spots, and so you can sort of pop up in a western state and hop on your bike and follow this route and know you're going to have an awesome experience.
We're at the Little Blitzen Overload, and this is a really, really great lookout. You look everywhere and you can see something to see. We're way up high, and we're going to go all the way up to 10,000 feet and find the highest, most beautiful lookout, but this one is pretty awesome too.
I love riding in the Oregon desert because it's a very unique landscape. It's kind of the most northern part of the Great Basin that extends all the way down to Death Valley and to Baja. You know, if you look at a light pollution map of North America, there's this huge dark spot over southeastern Oregon, and we're sort of in the middle of it right now.
Southeastern Oregon is the most amazing place in the world to ride motorcycles. You feel sometimes like you're on a different planet throughout the day riding out here. One of our favorite places, yeah.
The Alvord Desert, and you can see out to the Trout Creek Mountains and I think the Santa Rosas. It's really neat to be up here and you can see the whole landscape, and then you can go down in it and ride it. But this gives you this really neat perspective on this area.
Steens are like 10,000 feet. We're gonna go way up in the elevation and see some amazing gorges and views. And it's one of the youngest mountain ranges in Oregon.
We're riding in this really cool landscape that reminds me a lot of Iceland. Very green and rugged, treeless, kind of an alpine environment. We are at 9,500 feet of elevation, so we're up in the Alpine Zone, riding on some beautiful gravel roads in the Steens Mountains. Beautiful road up here. Love this environment. It's nice and cool, high elevation, alpine, dirt road, rocks, green. Just turned right onto a lesser gravel road, kind of like a two-track.
We're in the Moon Hill Road coming down the mountain, and this is, I think, really where this BDR-X is beginning. The BDR Energy is fun two-track, smelly sage, some ruts, rocks, but nice flow. I'm getting into the groove.
Just enough rocks to keep it interesting, keep you on your toes, little off camber with some ruts.
To get off the graded gravel roads, it's really nice when the track follows the natural contours and hasn't been machined, you know.
Despite all the riding we just did, we haven't made it as far as I thought we had. We might be halfway through this.
May I check out your makeup?
Oh, sure, what would you like to see?
You look good with that dust on you.
Brown? Is brown my color?
Yeah.
I've ridden in a lot of places all over the world. This is probably the dustiest route I've ever been on. You have to wind up modulating your speed out on the route because the wind blows in different directions. So you want to kind of keep up with the riders, but then you also don't want to be stuck in the dust. So be mindful of that. That's my safety tip of the day.
I feel great. Yeah, this is like one of my favorite parts of southeastern Oregon, and the route that we just took up over the Steens and now eventually headed back down toward the Alvord is like, it's pretty interesting. For the most part, it was like really rutted and lots of rocks mixed in with the hard pack and super entertaining.
Okay, we're coming into a place called Diamond. And they have the Diamond Hotel here, which I'm told you can stay at. So let's have a look at the Diamond Hotel in Diamond, Oregon.
So we're at the Hotel Diamond, which is just off the Oregon BDR-X. If you're looking for a cool historic hotel to stay at, we would highly recommend that you come check this place out. They serve you a great dinner and it's great company, so come on and stay in the Hotel Diamond.
So this is the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge off to my right. Wetlands and a lot of birds, things like that.
So right now we're camping at the Narrows. There's a little hotel here. We weren't able to get a cabin. I would say definitely make sure you plan ahead and book your lodging. The hotels only have maybe 5 or 6 rooms, so it's important to book ahead. But they have a wonderful restaurant. The owners have owned this place for 2 years and they're super sweet. It's really nice to meet these locals. They're just really friendly and happy to see us here.
So we started our day in the Narrows. We camped out at a cool little field there and ate some breakfast. They came in early for us to serve us breakfast, which was actually really nice.
This is the second day that we're starting on the BDR-X. It's supposed to be a long day, probably 110 miles or so. Long day for filming, but yeah, we're ready.
And so being out here in the middle of nowhere where you can just feel really free to kind of experience nature, getting away from all of the hustle and bustle of the city, it's really a grounding experience to get out here. And so that's one of the things I really love about Oregon is the remoteness.
Okay, this is the section of road between the Malheur National Wildlife Visitor Center and going up into the Steens Mountains to the Stonehouse. And we're only a couple of miles onto the dirt road, heading east towards the Stone Mountain Wilderness.
So overall today, I think it's around 120 or 30 miles or something like that. Probably will be with our explorations. We're hoping to get into fields by 4 o'clock.
You probably can't see it on the GoPro, but I can actually see the Steens Mountains way over there on the horizon because of the snow that's up on the top. There's still some snow remaining here. They're dead ahead of us right now on this road, the Steens Mountains, and that's where we're going to be heading to. And here we go, ascending up into the mountains, the Steens Mountains.
Yesterday we were reviewing footage, and today I'm making it a goal of mine to try and capture more footage showing transitions from one type of riding to the next. So for example, today we just came from pretty big wide open gravel roads, and there was a very clear differentiation point between big gravel roads to climbing up into these mountains and plateaus that we're in right now. We went past some cows and through a little cattle grate, and so I made sure I had the camera running for that.
We've kind of just headed out these nice farm grassland dirt roads and kind of just checking out the scenery. It's a kind of a mellow ride out to this spot. As we're transitioning into this different ecosystem, the trees and the sites are going to change. You're going to be able to see more of the hills and mountains. You get a better kind of overview of the area, and it's kind of nice to have that transition between flat, open grasslands, kind of upper area where you can see around a little bit more and get a little more views of the mountains. So Stonehouse Wilderness is coming up next for us, and also we're going to be able to stop the stone house itself that the wilderness is named after. And then we're going to hit the Alvord after that, and that'll wrap up our day.
Okay, the road has sort of turned into a little two-track here. Just going through these fields with sagebrush and flowers and the occasional pine tree. It's really fresh and scenic and pretty.
These deep ruts in the road here are a sign that this is not to be ridden when wet. If it starts raining, your best option is to pull over, pull out your tent, and wait, because the roads are impassable ahead of you and impassable behind you. Not worth trying.
A little bit of loose, rocky climbing, some sand, every now and then a little mud puddle. Can potentially get a little bit of everything in this kind of a track here. You really got to be on your toes and just stay focused on the terrain, because it's a lot of little small micro adjustments. There's no major big challenges or anything, but just lots of little things to pay attention to on the road. Looks like it's getting a little rockier here. I always want to glance down at my GPS and make sure that I'm still on the track. You never know where the road might have turned into a lesser road and you miss that turn, and so it's always a good idea to keep an eye on your track. It's a little steeper right here. Ooh, really rocky here. There's a nice little hill climb. And this is what the two-track looks like after that little section, continuing to head up into the mountains, or maybe we're actually in the mountains now, but it's definitely it's getting a little bit more challenging. Ruts, rocks.
I think the biggest challenges we're going to face on this trip are rocks. The mixture of silt and sand and rocks is going to be challenging for riders. There's challenges of all types, but I really think the roughness of the track is going to be the biggest challenge.
Nathan, this was a fun road.
Yeah! Woo! I'm glad you liked it, because man, when I was out here, this was super, super fun, and I'm glad that everybody else likes it.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah, this is like the most texture we've had so far.
Well, and it's fun again for a little while. We're gonna see the Stonehouse, and then we're gonna drop down, and that road down into Alvord, man, it is just awesome. You're gonna love the view.
Really beautiful section of two-track with flowers growing in the middle of the road and on the sides of the road. We've got some mountain meadows. This is kind of like a high alpine desert environment. Now it's really getting thick through here. Can barely see the two-track. It's almost like we're not even riding on a road, but we are.
Yeah! Woo!
We just came up Stonehouse Road, which was an incredible two-track with beautiful flowers on both sides and right up the middle of the track. Really sensational.
I had tears in my eyes because it was so fun. We're so fortunate to be doing this. Like, it's amazing.
You know, it's a really rewarding experience to have like scouted all of this and spent all these years working on the route, to then have your awesome reaction. And I hope you guys at home have that same awesome reaction when you come out here and you experience the beauty and wilderness and awesome motorcycling that's up here in Stonehouse Wilderness.
This is such a great section. I'm enjoying this a lot. I love all the different shades of green and then just punctuated with little hits of color from the wildflowers. This is the kind of terrain that could be fun on a 500 or a 450, but I'm on a 1290 and I'm having a blast on it too. It's not too hard for the big bikes, but it'd still be fun on a little bill sport.
We just made it up this amazing, rocky, flowy ascent, quite muddy, or once was quite muddy, so lots of ruts. Many things to keep it interesting, and it was so cool being able to see the crew off in the distance ahead because of the little plumes of dust coming up into the air and wildflowers growing everywhere. It's just so lush and beautiful in this portion of the desert. Like, even the sage is a brighter green than it normally is. It's just perfect.
Are you collecting flowers?
Yeah, I'm making Ina a little bundle for her bike, for her backpack. Sage, I've got some sage and then a couple of wildflowers. It's so fresh.
To me, this is something that is about providing something to the riding community and helping the sport move forward, you know, and making sure that these routes are open, you know, having an organization that kind of speaks for all of us and our access to the terrain. So I think the BDRs are awesome. I love riding them, and I'm just proud to be part of now creating them in this way. You know, it's like really cool.
We're headed to the Stonehouse, which is right here. Stonehouse is a destination.
I don't know a whole lot about it, but what I do know is that some settler came out and tried to scratch a living out of the ground here, and hats off to them for trying. It's pretty dry country.
What is the state bird of Oregon? Because it seems like it's the mosquito.
I wouldn't disagree with you on that, but you know, they happen anywhere there's water, so I'm an Alaskan, and that's definitely the state bird there too.
This is the section after the Stonehouse. We're back in this 2-track through the desert sagebrush. Some ruts, embedded rocks. There's a rock right there, giant rock hidden in the brush.
There's a lot of gotchas on this route. You can't read the terrain when you can't see it.
And it looks like the guys are trying to figure out which way to go here. Route finding can be difficult. Yeah, that was a little treacherous section right there, trying to figure out where the route goes through that really tall grass, and then some actual small boulders hidden down in the grass. This last section has had a lot of big embedded rocks, really getting bounced all over the place. You really have to be vigilant of wheel placement and rocks in the road, good grip on the handlebars.
Oh man, there's a good one in there. Oh, that one hit my skid plate.
There's just so few settlements, and there's not much population here. I mean, you may be on a road that very few people have ever been on, because if anyone made a road here in the last 100 years, it's still there. There's nothing to kind of grow over it. There's no detritus to sort of rot on top and eventually conceal the road. The track is there. You can see it on satellite. There might be some old wagon road that the pioneers used, you know, but it's still there.
Now we're descending from the top of the mountains that we've just been riding across, and it continues to be a really chunky road.
For me, and as much as I enjoyed and just was in awe of those meadows, riding in those meadows, the descent down for me is quite hard. It's really steep, it's rocky, really sharp turns. So we're almost considering making it an expert, but I don't think so. I think you could do it with a little bit of skill and teamwork. So just be careful, take it slow. Just be aware that this kind of expert type stuff is coming.
I welcomed the challenging sections where you knew mentally you had to prepare yourself and get ready for a good couple of miles of some really rocky, loose terrain. On the way down with that heavy bike, not being able to get my weight back, take your time, breathe, don't death grip on the handlebars if you can, relax, look where you want to go, and easier said than done, but if you can do those things, you'll be a lot better off than I was probably.
We're heading down the switchbacks from these mountains, and it's been a really rugged, rough, gnarly, bumpy road. But we're doing the best we can, trying to keep it smooth, not get tipped over on these rocks. I'm gonna stay closer to the inside edge. Don't want to get pitched off the side of the mountain. Now we're back in the flatland, heading towards the Alvord Desert and the playa. Well, I'm standing here out in the sun, trying to get some shots of these guys rolling into the hot springs, and the group is stopped by the entrance. Sounds like Ina took a fall and hurt her arm, so I'm gonna ride up and check it out.
And she hit that block, that cement block. It was obvious that her arm was broken. Luckily, That plane over there belongs to an ER doctor who ran over and set her. Her bone is broken in 2 spots.
I'm not in pain right now, my God. So we were going on this super wide gravel road and taking a turn into the Alvord Desert. And I was talking to Tim on the comms and just like was too hot into the corner as always.
I honestly thought she was going to go up and over the fence. We're going to try to get her to a hospital. It's about 2 hours away, but the doctor has generously offered to fly Ina in his plane.
Okay, so we need to get a hold of our support truck so he can tow my bike. And we don't have cell reception here, but I've got Zolio, so I'm gonna text him here now.
She's a rock star. She's getting ready to hop in this plane and fly to medical care, and the rest of us are kind of shocked that this happened so quickly and abruptly.
I'm flying out in style.
I just love these wide open spaces. It's an area that not a lot of people have seen, and it's really geologically really special. You know, when people think about the Pacific Northwest, they don't think about these big wide open desert spaces and dry lake beds and hot springs. For me, it being in places that don't have a lot of things, there's some connection between that and having a clear head. And I don't know if I can totally connect those dots, but I always feel very calm and relaxed out here. And it's one of my favorite places to explore. And when you get to the end, it's just a great feeling, and it's a great bonding experience with the other people in the group.